be, whether you're live streaming or here with us in person. You remember to spring forward. Let's sing about it.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be.
In the right place.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Please join me in turning around and saying good morning to those live streaming. You're in the right place at the right time.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome.
I'm getting the message.
I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
Your soul,
My soul is welcome here.
my soul,
My soul is welcome here.
all of our souls.
My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
My soul,
My soul is welcome here.
now.
My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Now that was some lively drumming.
We found out at the 9 o'clock service who the real early birds are and who set their clocks ahead.
Right, and statistically, you are all in the high-ranking statistic of people who remembered to change your clocks. So congratulations. It does help, but it's not always the case. It's just not, like the car. My car is always the last thing that I ever change because it involves a lot of twisting and turning, you know. Anyway, so on this beautiful new morning where we have sprung forward and just are in that promise of new life, we welcome you in the name of all that is good and all that is beautiful and warm and sacred, and in this beautiful ministry, this beautiful spiritual community, this mission-centric community, Spiritual Life Center. And we know you are never here by accident. You are always here by
Divine appointment.
Especially if it's your first time here with us. We want to welcome you. There are no accidents in this great world unless you forgot to turn your cell phones off before you came in. And then I've been threatening this for a while. We are going to have a ringtone challenge Sunday. So hold on for that, but for now, turn them off.
Do that in the middle of the summer.
In the middle of the
In
summer?
the middle of the summer, just to, break things up a little bit.
Okay. You heard it. You heard it here.
So one of the things that we are asked sometimes is, what do we teach? What do we believe in unity? And so we have decided that we're going to start talking about that every week to help people, especially new people, to know what we teach and also remind the rest of us. So there we have 5 unity principles, and the first one is God is absolute good and everywhere present. And I think that's pretty self-evident. That's just is. People are inherently good, and since humans are made in the image of God, we have a spark of divinity within us, and we are therefore inherently good as well. Thoughts create our experiences, and most of us have everyday proof of that. Yeah, we humans create our experiences by the activity of our thinking, and everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in our thoughts. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. Prayer is a creative thinking that heightens the connection with God and therefore brings forth wisdom, prosperity, and everything good. And then we must take action. Sitting home watching Netflix all day doesn't take action. It is, right, I know darn, right? It's like knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, is not enough. A person must live in the truth that he or she knows.
Beautiful. And watching Netflix all day takes very little action. It maybe is a little bit of this.
Well, you have to get up and go into the kitchen and bring stuff back.
You do? Yeah, okay. There's going to be a class on that, a workshop.
Yeah.
No, what we are practicing, truly what we are practicing right now is the Season for Nonviolence. And it was started as a grassroots effort, and it has been ongoing for so many decades now. It's a beautiful, beautiful expression of peace and nonviolence. And so we use those marker places of the death of Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi as the span of those 64 days. And so every Sunday we offer a reading to remind us the truth of that peaceful presence. And so this morning we want to welcome Ruth Rizos up to share the daily reading with us.
Good morning. Good morning. Today I tell a coworker something about them I appreciate. Whenever someone tells me something about me that they appreciate, I feel good. I feel as though what I am doing makes a difference. In those times when I'm not feeling confident or self-assured, I remember what they said, and it lifts me up. It helps me feel good again. In whatever way I work with others, as a volunteer or at my job, the people I work with are important to me. We are working together toward a common goal. Some I know just enough to say hi. Others I know well. However well I know them, just like me, they have times when they need to be lifted up by an appreciative word. I don't need to wait for them to feel down. I express my appreciation now, knowing they will remember my words. Today, I tell a coworker something about them that I appreciate. As is often the case with divine order, it appears this message was written just for me. The sentence that spoke to me was, just like me, they have times when they need to be lifted up by an appreciative word. I am aware that I don't always take the time to speak an appreciative word to a fellow volunteer. I may have an appreciative thought about the person, but I simply don't take the time to say it out loud. When I retired from my job at the state of California at the end of 2017, my office mates planned a small retirement celebration for me. I thought about what I wanted to say to my coworkers. It occurred to me that I wanted to tell each one of them one or two things that I appreciated about them. And I worked in an office of about 30 people. As I wrote a sentence or two about each person, I began to feel tremendous gratitude. I thought of the uniqueness of each person, how each one of them contributed, and how we all worked together toward common goals. As I shared these thoughts with my coworkers at the celebration, I was keenly aware of how special every one of my coworkers was. For me, it was a lovely way to say goodbye and move into the next phase of my life. Currently, I volunteer with SLC's youth education team one Sunday a month. While my contribution is small, I receive great joy in return for my little effort. All of the youth education team members encourage and express appreciation to one another often. so I can continue to practice this skill. As today's message implies, I need not wait for a formal occasion to express appreciation for others. Instead, I can tell fellow volunteers something I appreciate about them moment by moment. When I remember to do so, we are both lifted up. Peace and blessings to you.
Thank you, Ruth, and we appreciate your dedication so much. So many beautiful hands in our youth education. And so I want to tell you a little bit about our guest speaker, and we're going to pretend that she's not standing right next to me. So Reverend Deborah Phillips is an ordained New Thought minister. She's a teacher and a writer. Her passion is spiritual exploration, the process of discovering one's personal relationship with the divine. She's been studying metaphysics for over 40 years, primarily within unity and religious science frameworks. But her interests are far-reaching, especially when it comes to spirituality. She's the director of our Wednesday WOW program, and she also facilitates our spiritual exploration discussion group on Thursday mornings, which anyone is welcome to come to. And here at SLC, she often participates in the Sunday services on the platform and offering meditations. And I can't wait for you to hear her message. It is a really good one. And please give a warm welcome to Reverend Deborah Phillips.
And our Wednesday program this week, at the 9 o'clock, I was like, oh yeah, I do that. So we are talking about, I'm going to interview Monty Richardson. He is on our board of trustees, and we named this From Here to Eternity. And Monty will be talking about a very challenging childhood, and then how he worked through that and came into the spirituality that he now lives. And so it is not a grim night. It will be lots of fun. And so we hope to see you all there. It will be soup at 6 and the services at 7.
And I think we switched to salad in April.
We switched to salad in April.
Just in case you want to know. And so
we'll tell you then, too.
We will, coming up really soon. So on our Wednesday morning book group, facilitated by Claire Kinsley, she is not sitting in here right now, but she is our cashier, and she is a wonderful soul. She is a marvelous, marvelous teacher. She's quite a scholar. I'm glad she's not in here, because I'm going to talk a little bit about her. She is going to currently focus on Emmett Fox's book, The Power Through Constructive Thinking, and she's going to focus on that through Lent and then switch it up. She's got some great new authors coming up. So if you have a question or if you have a suggestion on a book you would like for that group to work with, please see her at the cashier table and don't tell her I sent you. And then we had planned to have Krishna Guadalupe with us to offer a program, Dancing with the Beloved. And we want to wait. So he was originally going to teach with his partner, Carrie Jahane, who is another beautiful teacher. And she went on a trip to Costa Rica. She's doing a study there, several months of study. We want to wait and bring them both to you at a later date. So we're postponing that March 23rd event. So stay tuned for that. And I think we have a word or two from a board of trustee who is going to share some information about the board recruitment.
Thank you. Good morning and congratulations for getting here. The board at our last board meeting, and really several board meetings, have talked about the need to communicate and outreach more with the community about where we are in our goal towards transforming SLC as an organization based on a mission-driven model. And so there's several opportunities coming up to engage you in that conversation, including Gary Simmons, our mentor in this process, next month. And I believe someone else is going to say more about that in a moment. We'll also have new bylaws coming out in April for you to review. And in May, we have our membership meeting where we will look at those bylaws as well as elect new board members. So I'm here to ask you to consider in your heart where your ownership is and where you're called to be in ownership with SLC. And I ask that you consider stepping into ownership from the level of a board member. I've been engaging in more conversations. I just met Andrew during the break, and it was a great conversation. Someone also asked me a penetrating question at the recent frolic, and I thought, oh, I need to engage in more conversation so that I cement as well as communicate out to others more of what all this means. So the board application process has opened, and we are looking for at least one board member that will be a 3-year term, and 2 positions that are alternates that are 1-year terms, and those are sort of like board members in training. And we had a recent board training where we went over the roles and responsibilities of the board and really engaged in conversation with a number of the people who showed up. We had 4, thank goodness. We were grateful to have those 4, and we had 2 express interest but weren't able to come. And everyone really got a lot out of it. So I think we're going to do what is a board member, what are your responsibilities, kinds of interactions more as we go forward. And one of those things that I haven't formally calendared, so I might get into trouble, we want to do on March 24th, between services at 10 o'clock, a coffee with the board members. And I'm calling it coffee and croissants because I'm going to bring croissants from S.E.L.F.I.E bakery, so almond croissants specifically. Meet us out, get your coffee and bring it out into the kitchen area across the way, and from 10 to 10:45, show up with your questions. And if you are interested or have questions about the application or what we do as a board or anything, show up, and some of the representative board members will be there to talk to you. Applications are due by the end of the month, March 31st. Then we go into a discernment process and an interview process and bring the nominees to the May meeting. So we ask that you can also get the applications online from slcworld.org under the Board of Trustees area, or we have some printed copies at the table out next to the cashier, and I'll be out there after church as well today if you have any questions. So go into your heart today. I had a hard time sleeping last night because I didn't know really what I was going to say. One of the terms that might come up that I've been in discernment about is my term is over. And I have the option as a board member to extend another year. And so I've been in discernment about that. And part of that, today is also my birthday. And so during my birthday, and Lenten and Easter is just a great time for one, as I go into discernment about what do I need to own and kind of clean up. And then what do I want to take ownership of? And so I have decided to renew another year as board member, and because I want to be in that conversation, and I encourage each and every one of you to think in terms of where you belong in that conversation of ownership. Thank you.
Reverend James is going to be teaching a class in April. It is called The Truth Principles for Modern Living. And this is Lessons in Truth with a modern update. He's going to be using the book Lessons in Truth, but he is also going to be bringing in other teachers and just sort of livening the whole thing up, modernizing the language. His classes are very popular. He's a wonderful teacher. April 4th, 11th, and 18th from 7 o'clock till 8:30 p.m.
Yeah, and books are available at the cashier table, and when you sign up for that class, wear your favorite socks each week and check out James' socks. He's a snappy dresser. Check out his socks. And he's a lot of fun. We get a lot of comments about people not realizing how funny he really is until he gets into that small group. So he's a wonderful instructor. And coming up also in April on the 5th, we have Reverend Dr. Gary Simmons. We call him the Church Whisperer. And yes, it's the second coming of the Church Whisperer. He is coming back for a second term with us to meet with the community and to really dig into where we are on this mission-centric shifting. So bring your questions and bring your answers to be questioned, and bring your feedback and hear all about our mission-centric shift. We're so excited. We want all of you to come because you are the community. So be here. You are wanted, and you are the community.
That's right. And now I'd like to introduce some other beloved members of our community with our ambassadors, board of trustees, and chaplains. Please stand. The ambassadors wear the rainbow ribbons, and they are here to help you with questions and give you information on how you can become more connected at SLC. The Board of Trustees wear name tags with a purple ribbon on it, and they can also help you get more information about our wonderful community. And then our prayer chaplains who wear the white stoles, they are here to hold us in confidential prayer during our human journey of joy as well as challenge, and they will be in the courtyard to pray with you after service.
And if you're here for the first time, we're going to ask you to raise your hand in just a minute. We're going to hand you a welcome card, and that is a great way to get connected here at SLC. Fill it out, and you can sign up for Reverend James' weekly email message, where you can get a wonderful inspiration every week and a list of all of the upcoming events, classes, and programs that we offer here. So drop that, fill it out, drop it in the welcome basket, in the offering basket, or go to the welcome table. And it's all welcome. You're all welcome. The baskets are welcome. The table's welcome. You're welcome. And so drop that in. You're also now. So now is the time when you raise your hand. So you're here for the first time. Raise your hand and keep it up. We're going to offer you a chalet. And on that chalet is a beautiful blessing that reminds you that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and there are many paths to the one God. And today we are especially grateful you've joined us, and so now is the perfect time to stand and greet those newcomers and each other.
We invite you to stay standing, and please join us in singing our group song, I Release and I Let Go. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But I have to say, if you feel discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let go. Just let it all go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see a light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for I believe and I let go.
there's like so much energy.
A lot of energy. Lots of energy today. Ah, yes. So we've been talking a lot about Dr. Gary Simmons and being the church whisperer. And he brought a phrase to us as we've been working with this Q process. And that is, we actually decided when we had board and staff meeting together that we would have this year be our Seasons of Awareness year. And first quarter, wake up. So we're in the wake up phase right now. And after that, what are we going to do? We're going to clean up a bit. And then we're going to grow up. And then we're going to show up. Actually, we can do all of those things, and we do all of those things simultaneously. And part of this process has been recognizing some of the triggers that we have in the community that keep us from living with nothing and no one against us. So we are speaking those out loud, bringing them up, moving them out. It's part of the cleanup process, I'd say. So let's read those together. Please have compassion for us when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, and fearful. Because this is who we've come here to be, inspired, in integrity, joy-filled, compassionate, unstoppable, generous, and transformational. And we will embody all of these beautiful qualities as we speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now we will sing this beautiful chant affirming, I am as God created me.
I invite you to take a nice deep breath and settle into your chair. You are as God created you to be, in the light, in the love, and in all the glory. Please join us in singing.
I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory.
beautiful vibration in that beautiful, simple chant. It's time to let it all go. So if you would, take a deep breath. Relax. Drop your shoulders. And just land fully here now. We don't always remember that we are this love and this glory. But we can remember with this simple, simple practice. The mantra, I am as God created me. It is in this light, in this love, and in this glory, the truth of our being. And so allowing your breath to gently rise and fall. Drop your shoulders. Let that chair fully support you. And wear your body like a soft garment. I am as God created me. I know the truth as I let go. I let go of thinking. I let go of knowing. I just am. I am the truth. The simplest rhythm. The simplest heartbeat. The expansive place of love. And I can float in that softness in any moment. And I become the ripple. No obstruction, no effort, just flowing, breath by breath, resting, being the glory. Floating, effortless, peace, grace, love. And this effortless peace and love is the truth. And we settle with this truth in a simple, simple moment of silence. as the ripple has no resistance. The silence leads me back to the truth. In the light, in the love, and in the glory. I am.
This is a very simple song, so if you're moved to join us, please do. I am revealing heaven on earth, heaven on earth, heaven on earth. I am revealing heaven on earth, heaven on earth, heaven on earth. I am revealing heaven on earth, heaven on earth, heaven on earth. Spirit of love, I am revealing spirit and love, spirit and love, spirit and love. Wisdom and I am revealing wisdom and light, wisdom and light, wisdom and light. Healing and I am revealing healing and peace, healing and peace, healing and peace, and freedom and joy. I am revealing freedom and joy, freedom and joy, freedom and joy, freedom and joy. I am revealing heaven on earth, heaven on earth, heaven on
I have to tell you, it is such an incredible privilege to work with this amazing musical team, the amazing meditation team, and the people who run our audiovisual tube. It's just such an amazing experience for me to be supported by all these people, and I really... So, Ash Wednesday was last Wednesday, and we have now come into the season of Lent. And as I was thinking about this talk, I was thinking about Lent and the Lenten practice. And many people in this community come from churches where basically Lent was a time to punish yourself. Yes, you recognize that. It is really a time of self-reflection, but I was just really thinking about how you can turn that around, and certainly in the Unity teaching, we do turn it around. And yet we still think in terms of, oh, if I'm going to do something during Lent, I have to give something up. Well, the truth is you can actually take on, excuse me, some sort of a practical or a practical spiritual practice that will make you feel better about yourself or whatever. And I give up swearing every year. Well, it has a very practical application, because if I have to think about what I'm going to say, then I'm thinking about what I'm thinking. And if I'm thinking about what my thoughts are, then I'm thinking about how I'm feeling or what's going on inside me. And so I do that every year. And here's the cool part. From Ash Wednesday to Easter, we say Lent is 40 days, but if you do the math, there's too many days in there. So traditionally, Sunday is not a day that you do your spiritual practice. So all during Lent, I can just swear like crazy on Sunday. And that was making me laugh, and it does every year. And I don't normally do that, but it's like, oh, I could do that today. And then I got to thinking more about how this is an inner reflection. It is about looking more at yourself and your selfhood. And somehow or another, the word selfies started coming into my mind. And then I started thinking about the 2 times I've done selfies, and those are just terrifying. You take a picture of yourself like this, and then you look at it, and it's just terrifying. I mean, really? Okay, so I decided to see if I could reframe the idea of the selfie, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. But I want to go back to the spiritual practice. Now, a spiritual practice doesn't mean that you're going to go sit in a cave and meditate. It means that if you want to make a change in your life, whatever steps you take to do that, that is a spiritual practice. A lot of people have done treasure maps, or they've done these different kinds of things. Those are all a form of a spiritual practice. It doesn't have to be limiting. It doesn't have to mean that you give up sugar or the thing you love most in life for 50 days or 40 days or whatever. It simply means a routine that you're going to follow. And I came up with some steps. Yes. So whatever it is you want to accomplish, whether it is making a huge change like moving or changing jobs or perhaps a change in a relationship, you might just want to rearrange your living room, and you might need to buy new furniture to do that. I mean, there's this whole range of different things that you can do. All of those things still come under the category of being a dream. What is your dream? What is your dream today? It might take you 15 minutes to accomplishment, but it's still a dream. And so the first thing that you need to do in these steps is select what you're going to do. What is my dream? What do I want to accomplish? So it'd be like, what element of your life do you want to shift? And shift might be a little nicer word than change even, because I'm not going to just change it. I'm going to just shift it a little, make it a little different. You know, what are you feeling called to do? What is really pulling on you? And it doesn't have to be something big or momentous. And it might actually be easier to start with something small. Each shift that you make triggers other small shifts until the big one is accomplished. I go back to the living room. It's like you buy this one really cool thing, and you take it and you put it in your living room, and oh, well, that's there, then I have to move this. Oh, and then I have to move this, until eventually the whole room is rearranged. Well, that happens on the mental, emotional, physical level as well. When you make one small change, then other things start to shift as well. And it's a very gentle way of affecting change in your life. And the only difference now, keep this in mind, the only difference between a big dream and a small dream is a matter of time. How much time it takes to accomplish the dream. Selecting something, making that decision to commit to something can be kind of scary because, oh, I've made this commitment and I'm going to have to do it. And then, what if I don't want to do it? Or what if it's the wrong thing? Well, that's when you evaluate it. You take the time to step back and look at it from different angles. Where did you get the idea in the first place? Did it come from someone else? Did it come from a commercial on TV? How did you get it? Now, keep in mind that a dream is not a passing fancy, or an idle or temporary yearning or need. A dream is something that is calling you. And yes, it could be as simple as, oh, I'm going to start a little garden in the backyard. It's a dream. It's something that you're being called to do. So selecting can be kind of scary, but here's the reality is that you can still change your mind. None of this is written in granite. It's all in, well, it's not pixels, but it's in molecules and atoms. And it's all can be changed and moved around. How does the dream feel to you? When you think about it, how do you feel? Does it feel like it would be fun and it would be something good for you? Will it bring light into your life? Or are the words should, have to, and gotta running through your mind? If should, have to, and gotta are running through your mind, you might want to go in and check with your heart again and say, is this something that we really, is this a dream? Because there's all those things that we need to do, but they're not our dream. They're just everyday life. And you can always, always change your dream, and you can go back. And you will notice as we go through these steps, they sort of blend together. They're not necessarily completely linear, so keep that in mind as well. So after you've evaluated, after you've become comfortable and feel, yeah, I can commit to this, then you're going to loosen up a little bit. You're not going to let go. If you let go, well, first of all, what happens when someone tells you to let go? I know what happens when they tell me to let go. I just hang on tighter. No, I can let go. So if we loosen up a little bit and allow the idea, the dream, to start building a life of its own. And then, even as you start to loosen up, you might still have the evaluation going and, oh, okay, maybe that's not quite right, and you can still change it. And then you want to loosen up on your self-expectations of what you expect of yourself in the process of accomplishing this. Because not everything is going to go perfectly. It might. We have those moments where, oh, I asked for this and poof, and it was here, and that was all wonderful. And we tell those stories because most of the time, that's not how it works, right? So give yourself that space, lighten up on yourself, and be kind to yourself while you're going through the process. Loosening up on how you want your dream to manifest, because I certainly know that I am like this, and I know a lot of people. It's like, okay, I'm going to bring this into my life, and this is how it's going to work. And you get the phone call going, nothing's going the way I thought it would, but it still seems to be working. So lighten up on that. Loosen up your expectations on how it's supposed to work, and open yourself up to the weird stuff that can come along. Because weird is actually pretty cool, especially when you're manifesting something like this. The best outcomes tend to show up in the ways that we least expect. So you're loosening up, but at the same time, you need to focus, right? Because if you let go completely, you're not even paying attention to it. But if you loosen up, you're still focusing on it because it's still in your mind, it's still floating out there, you can still give it attention. So, and letting go just really implies removing it completely from your thoughts. So we get what we pay attention to, we get what we believe in, we get what we think about, we believe what we think about, and think about what we believe. Let's try that together. We believe what we think about, and think about what we believe. You know, the point of this exercise and all the other things that we do, the Q effect, these are all really meant to help us discover those hidden beliefs that that are running us that we're not really aware of. You know, the whole idea of domestication, and so many people don't like that word, but Don Miguel Ruiz really got it on the head, is from the time probably we're conceived, but certainly from the time we're born, we're being told to do this, don't do that. And for the first how many years of our lives, we're just hearing all this stuff and we're not sorting it out. So there's all of this information and all of these beliefs that are hanging around underneath and we don't know what they are. So exercises like this can really, really help us start to figure out what it is we think about something. I like to take the example of our animals because animals just really know who they are and what they're here for. And there was these two dogs and a cat, and they ended up sitting in front of St. Peter at the pearly gates. Uh-oh. Okay, so there's a German Shepherd, a poodle, and a cat. And the German Shepherd, St. Peter looked at the German Shepherd and he said, "What do you believe? Why should you be here?" And the German said, "St. Peter, I believe in duty and obedience and protecting my master and being loyal at all costs." And St. Peter said, oh, that's really, really wonderful. Come on in, you're welcome. St. Peter looked at the poodle. And he said, so why do you think you belong here? What do you believe? He says, the poodle bounced up and down. So I believe in loving my master and having fun and being a good companion. Oh, that's wonderful. Come on in. St. Peter looked at the cat and he said, so what do you believe? And the cat jumped up on the lectern and he said, I believe that you are in my seat. They're so sure, and we're not. And understanding that we're not takes us a long way towards moving into what we really need to do. It's when we think we know what we're doing is when we get into the most challenging parts of our lives. Let's put it that way. So focusing and loosening up may seem like opposites, but it's also easy to... it's also possible to pay attention even while it floats out there, like I said before. You know it's there, and you can love it and nurture it and not hold on to it until you strangle it. And so if you feel like you're trying to force something to happen, loosen up. Don't push it away, just loosen up. Allow it to float. Now after that, you're going to intuit. You're going to use your intuition because the chances are, in many cases, you have absolutely no idea how whatever this is going to manifest. And we all do have to take action. There are things that we are to do, and there are things that we are to wait for. So trying to figure out how to do it and when to do it is where we start using our intuition. Not long ago, a person came to me, and they said that they were starting a business, and there was a possibility of 2 different partners that would come into business with the person. Well, I had just met that person that night. I had no idea who the other people were. I had no idea what business it was. All I knew is this person was asking me to tell her which partner to choose. And I thought about that, and I said, well, how about if you make a list and you write the name of each person on a piece of paper and do the pros and cons, and then after you've done that intellectual exercise, take that sheet of paper and hold it and close your eyes and meditate and ask, allow your heart, allow the inner part of you to talk to you and tell you, and you will know, you will get that feeling. You will know what the answer is. And you can do that with anything. And some of you may be pretty good at this, and you don't necessarily have to write it down on a piece of paper, but it's still always a good exercise. But learning to listen to what's going on. You're listening when you're evaluating. You're listening when you're loosening. And then you listen again when you're intuiting. Listen to your heart. I'm sure almost everyone in this room has probably had some experience where you've just walked into a room and you knew you just needed to get out of there as soon as possible. And many people have had the experience of walking in here and knowing that they were home. So we know a lot more than we realize. But it takes our taking that breath, sitting down and getting quiet, or taking a walk and getting quiet, however it works for you, because we all work differently. So it can be a lot of fun to loosen up, to turn on your intuition and wander into new territory. The trick is to allow yourself to trust your intuition and not let your fixed beliefs or what other people are saying to you distract you. And that's, of course, a lot easier said than done, I know, because there's always someone who has great advice, someone who knows better than you do, except they don't. You know what is good for you. You know what you need. You know what will work in your life. And the final step is to energize this whole project. That is how you build the trust. You energize your mind and soul each day or each moment, depending on how much you argue with yourself. We energize through prayer and meditation or music, getting quiet, doing whatever it is that you do to get into that place. Because there is a place that is inside each one of us that is not touched by this material world. It lives behind your heart. And there is nothing in this world that can change it. Nothing in this world that can make it anything but what it is, a divine spark of the divine. And we talk a lot about connecting. I'm going to go sit down. I'm feeling rattled. I'm going to go connect. And by that, we mean we want to find God in this very moment. But keep in mind, we are always connected. We are never separate from our divine selves. We do, however, get distracted and we forget. When we forget, our batteries run down. When our batteries are low, life does not flow as easily for us. And this is the time when we need to stop, sit down, and remember. 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 That sounds a lot like bringing pieces back together, doesn't it? The Native Americans have a ritual that they do in the fall, and it is about calling back all of the pieces of you that you have given away during the year. And it is a wonderful, wonderful ceremony. You remember yourself. You bring yourself back together. And we can all do that on our own. The ritual's cool, but we can all do it on our own. So when we remember who we are, and we energize our minds, our souls, and our bodies, we recognize our own wholeness. In this process of re-energizing, we also energize the elements of our dream. And we send the message that we are open and ready to receive. Yes, there's always circumstances. There's always going to be circumstances in this life. But we don't have to be totally run by them. We can navigate them, and we can use these steps to help us do that. And achieving any goal or dream, large or small, is an inside job. So earlier I was talking about selfies. I mean, how terrifying they can be because it's such a close-up look at your physical self. Well, this can also be, you can also make a selfie being a really close look at your inner self. And I discovered that process while writing this talk. And if I could get Christina to help me a little bit, think about it. If you walk through these steps, if you select a dream, and then if you evaluate it, and loosen your hold and let it float while you focus on your dream and let yourself intuit the steps needed while taking the time each day to energize your soul, your mind, and your body, you will be giving yourself the best gift of all, the ultimate selfie. Thank you and blessings. Next week, Reverend James will return, and his lesson is going to be recognize, unify, and realize. And we will also be graced with our choir under the direction of LaJean Walker, and it will also be St. Patrick's Day, so wear your green. Wear your green. And so as we move into our time of love offering, we know that the love offerings support SLC, and they also provide another wonderful avenue for keeping everything that we do in circulation, whether it is our time, talent, or our treasure. And so let us join together now, holding our offerings in our hand, and say our offering blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Sha-na-na-na, whoa, 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 just stop, step back. Sha-na-na-na, whoa, 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 just stop, step back. Yeah, I was struggling with a mighty problem. It kept me up half the night. The more I tried to overcome it, the harder I seemed to fight. So I asked a friend for help to solve it. something to give me an edge. But instead of joining the battle, this is what she said. Are you willing to stop, step back, breathe and be open? Stop, step back, let spirit guide your way. Are you willing to hold the place of not knowing what is next? Oh, stop, step back, breathe and be open. Sha-na-na-na, whoa, 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 just stop, step back. Sha-na-na-na, whoa, 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 just stop, step back. I said this all sounds a little bit crazy. Why would I just wanna quit? She said it's more like surrender. There's nothing you have to fix. In fact, there's not even a problem, though you believe that it's true. And if you take some time to rest your mind, the answer will come through. Are you willing to stop, step back, breathe and be open? Stop, step back, let spirit move your guide. Are you willing to hold the place of not knowing what is next? Oh, stop, step back, breathe and be open. And, well, you can bang your head against the wall over and over. You'll always damage your brain. But if you keep expecting the wall to fall down, there's a little something that might be called insane.
Crazy.
Are you willing to stop,
Stop,
step back,
step back,
breathe and be open? Stop,
stop,
step back,
step back.
let spirit be your guide. Are you willing to hold a place with no one else is there? Oh, stop, step back, breathe. I said stop, step back, breathe. Oh, stop, step back, breathe. Sha-la-la-la, whoa, 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 just stop, step back. Sha-la-la-la, oh, whoa, whoa, just stop, step back. You know the words now. Sha-la-la-la, whoa, 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 just stop, step back, step back now. Sha-la-la-la, whoa, 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 just stop, step back.
Whoa, whoa, yeah, stop, step back.
Whoa,
Step back.
whoa, whoa, just stop, step back.
Whoa, whoa, yeah, stop, step back.
Whoa,
Stop, step
whoa,
back.
whoa, just stop,
Step back, whoa, whoa, yeah.
Thank you.
And we know that we are all blessings to the world, and that all that we give and all that we receive is also blessings. And we give thanks and gratitude for this offering. And let us join together now in our peace song.
There be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator.
And please join me in saying our prayer for protection.